Hello. If you're considering making some big changes in your life, your career, or your business, I'd like to share some information and some strategies that are going to greatly increase your chances of succeeding. And I'd also like to give you a feel for what type of changes would most benefit from working with some professional support. My name is Steve Mitten. I'm a Master Certified Coach. I'm a veteran of the coaching industry, and I've been a long-time student of the art and science of making changes. And one of the things I'd like to share with you today is a distinction that psychologists make between a technical change and an adaptive change. A technical change is the type of change that we can make with just a little more information, or just the right information. So for example, if you've got a really busy life and you're running around and struggling with your time, and you're able to read an article on time management tips or a book on time management tips, and if that solved your problem, then that would be an example of a technical change. It's easy. But most of the bigger changes that we face in life fall in the category of adaptive change. And an adaptive change is a more difficult change. They are the changes that are very difficult for us to pull off by ourselves. Because an adaptive change requires that we grow, that we change the way we look at life and look at ourselves. We change our habits of thought and behavior. And so they're a great deal more difficult. When Einstein had that great quote that our biggest problems are never solved at the same level of thinking that gives rise to them, that was really pointing to what is called adaptive change, those more difficult changes. So if you've got a big change and you're not making progress on it, then another one of the things that you can pay attention to that I think are going to help your success rate with the change is something simple and everyday. It's your stress management. If you've got a typical busy life, a career, a family, and if we were to take a little sample of your blood, we'd probably find it filled with adrenaline, epinephrine, norepinephrine, corticosteroids. These are all components in the blood that changes chemistry, and actually research has shown make it very difficult for us to grow new neural patterns or achieve new ways of responding to the world. When we have high levels of adrenaline in our blood, we tend to just respond and stay kind of stuck where we are. So if you're serious about changing, one of the first things you want to do is just create the space in your life for the change. Take your stress management to the next level so that you actually have the ability to concentrate on a change, learn the new things you need to learn, and succeed with it. Another important factor to consider when you're making a change is whether the change and the outcome that you're going after really does line up with what's important to you. It really does line up with what you value, with your natural strengths. Because if you go after a change that might benefit one part of your life but conflict with another, you're going to run into some challenges. You're going to run into some problems. If you've got a change that completely lines up with what you love, the important areas of your life that give you the most meaning and the satisfaction and reward, then it's a heck of a lot easier to make those sorts of changes. However, whatever change you're planning to make, chances are you're going to run into various obstacles, external and internal. It's usually the internal changes that are more difficult. There's a part of us that really wants to change and grow and have more success and meaning and joy and freedom in our life. But there's another part of us that wants to stay safe. And that part of us that wants to stay safe can kind of fly under the radar and get in the way of our best changes. So it would be very valuable for you to pay attention to some of those thoughts and emotions and behaviors that conflict with what you're trying to do, and learn some strategies that are going to work for you to move past them when they come up. And they're probably going to come up. Another thing that is going to help you make a great change is to ensure that you've got a vision or a picture of the best possible outcome. and make sure that that vision or that picture really resonates with you. You really have an emotional connection. There's great research that shows that when we have a vision that's important to us, that it keeps us on track. It's alive enough in us that when we run into the inevitable obstacles, we can reconnect to that vision and remind ourselves why we're choosing to do something, why we're choosing to get out of bed on a rainy day and go out and work on what you're doing, as opposed to just choosing what you want to do in a particular day. So visions are really important. Having a good plan is also important. Sometimes when we look at the bigger changes of our life, when we first look at them, they can look like a huge mountain. It can look almost, insurmountable. How the heck do I get past this? But when you take a big change and you break it down into little manageable pieces, and you have a logical plan of what you're going to do and what sort of support you need and additional information you need, the biggest problems broken down into small little segments are much easier to digest. And if you've got a good plan and kind of accountability all around that plan, so that you've got some reminders and support that keep you coming back to it, then your chances of succeeding in your change are going to go through the roof. So let's say you've got a big important plan that or change in mind that you're going to need some help on. Those sorts of changes are just the absolute ideal thing to bring to a coach, because that's what coaches are trained to do. They're trained to work with you, to partner with you, to get clear on what you want to do, to make sure that what you want to do really lines up with what's important, to help you get a plan, to help you stay on that plan and moving forward. And that's just good, competent coaching. And a really great coach, I think, has an additional ability to see the very best in you and help you find a way to bring that forward, to help you find a way to really express the best of who you are and to create plans that are going to engage you, that are going to express the best in you and result in a whole lot of more meaning in your life or your career or your business. So if you're contemplating a big change, then I absolutely encourage you to check out a few coaches and kind of get a feel for how different coaches work, and pay attention to the coaches that you resonate with, that you connect with. Coaching's a young profession, but there's some things to look for in a coach. You want to make sure that not only do you connect with a coach, does it feel right for you, but you want to do your homework and ensure that the coach is fully trained by some reputable school. There's a lot of coaching schools out there. Not all of them have been fully accredited by an independent agency such as the ICF. But if you do your homework and see that your coach has been trained by an accredited coaching program or has achieved an independent credential from someone like the ICF, then you just know that they're really well trained in what they do. And you also know that they subscribe to a code of ethics and that they have a standard of professional practice. So you can rest assured you're going to get some good coaching. And the thing about coaching that you should know, that it's not one of these things that you have to invest in and hope that it pays off down the road. Coaching is something you should get value out of every single session. And if you don't, you should be free to move on and work with someone else. Most coaches you talk to are going to be pretty easy to chat with. Most of them are going to be pretty flexible in the way that they'll work with you and design a support structure. In my practice, there are no contracts, there are no commitments. We talk whenever a client needs the support. Typically, clients would talk to me a couple of times a month, but it's entirely up to them. Every single coaching call should be a lot of value. There's been research done on coaching over the years now that shows that it's a hugely successful service. 98.5% of the people that try coaching love it. When you take coaching into organizations, you routinely find return on investments of between 500 and 700%. So this is something you should see value from, and you should choose a coach that you can connect with, that they're well trained, and ideally that they've got some experience working in the areas that you're interested in. Because when you've been coaching for a while and you've coached hundreds and hundreds of clients, you have a wealth of experience and information about what worked in other situations and tools and tips and techniques that you can share with the client. So, summing up here, if you've got a big dream that you're wanting to pursue, if you've got a big change you want to make, I really encourage you to take it seriously, to get really clear on what you want to do. You know, life is short, and you don't get the life that you want or dream of or wish for. You really get the life that you go after, that you commit to, that you embrace, you know, the challenge and learn and adjust to all of the, you know, the lessons along the journey. Goethe, the great philosopher, had this quote that, you know, until one is committed, there's hesitancy, a chance to draw back. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. That boldness has genius, it has power, and it is magic. And I think that Goethe quote really speaks to the way the universe almost conspires to help you if you're really committed to something, particularly if what you're committed to is something that's going to make you more alive, bring more of the best out in you, generally, you know, make your life and the world a better place. So whatever you've got on your mind, take it seriously, dream big, go after it, and get the support you need to make it really, really successful. Good luck.